The hum of the spaceship was soft, almost like the breathing of a giant, tired creature. Marcus had always loved quiet mornings, but this one was different. He woke up slowly, blinking against the faint glow of the control panel. Something felt unusual. He stretched, yawning, still half dreaming. The bed in the tiny habitat module was always too firm, the walls too white. Yet today the world seemed off. Sitting up, he rubbed his eyes. That's when he noticed it. A small creature was on top of him. Not a person, not anything human, but perched there, its eyes wide, almost sparkling. Marcus froze. The alien was small, about the size of a cat, but its shape was strange, like a soft mixture of jelly and light. Its skin shimmered with faint colors, changing slowly as if reflecting its mood. Its limbs were thin but ended in tiny, delicate fingers. Its eyes were large, round, and entirely black, yet somehow full of curiosity. Marcus' heart raced. "Okay, okay, breathe," he whispered to himself. "It's not attacking, it's just looking." The creature tilted its head, studying him in return. Its movements were slow and cautious, careful not to touch too much. Marcus realized it was intelligent. This wasn't a random space anomaly. This was life, and it was curious about him. He tried to move his hand slowly, showing he meant no harm. "Hi," he said softly, unsure if it could hear. "I'm Marcus." The alien blinked. Slowly, it reached out one hand and touched his arm, lightly, like a whisper. Marcus felt a strange, tingling sensation, not unpleasant but very strange. The colors on its skin shimmered brighter, almost excited. Marcus swallowed hard. He had never encountered anything like this. Not in simulations, not in any of the textbooks, not even in dreams. Space was full of surprises, but this was beyond anything he imagined. He carefully slid to the edge of the bed, keeping his movements smooth. "Okay," he said again. "We can do this. Just calm, calm. Don't scare it." The alien stayed still for a moment, then suddenly jumped off him with a soft, fluid motion. Marcus blinked. It landed lightly on the floor, making no sound, and then hopped toward the small console at the end of the room. Marcus followed, curious and cautious. "You want something?" he asked. The creature reached a hand toward one of the blinking buttons. A panel lit up, and suddenly a soft holographic display appeared, showing simple shapes, circles, triangles, lines. The alien's fingers traced them, pointing to different symbols in a pattern that Marcus didn't understand. He leaned closer, squinting. "Wait, are you trying to communicate?" The alien looked at him, then back at the display, and then back at him again. Marcus' stomach tightened. Could it be intelligent enough to understand him? Could it learn? He decided to try something simple. He picked up a small tablet from the table and drew a circle. Then he drew a triangle next to it. The alien tilted its head and reached out to touch the shapes. The circle shimmered blue, the triangle shimmered yellow. Marcus' heart leapt. It was learning, slowly, carefully, but it was learning. Hours seemed to pass in minutes. Marcus felt a strange connection forming between him and the creature. He began to realize that this was more than an accident. It had chosen him somehow. Or maybe the universe had chosen this moment for him. He sat back, watching the creature move. It was playful now, hopping lightly across the floor, examining everything it could reach. When it saw Marcus smile, it shimmered a bright green. Marcus laughed softly. This was incredible. Yet even in the wonder, a small worry crept into his mind. Where did it come from? Why was it here? And what did it want from him or from the ship? He shook his head, trying to focus. One step at a time. First, communication. Then understanding. Then maybe a way to help it. He grabbed a small notebook from the side table. "Okay," he whispered. "We'll start simple. Shapes, colors, actions, maybe even sounds." The alien seemed to sense his determination. It crouched slightly, then stretched one limb toward the notebook, tapping gently with a finger. Marcus nodded, smiling. "Yes, that's the start." Minutes passed like hours as he drew a series of simple symbols, pointing to each one while saying the word aloud. Circle, triangle, line, light, move. The alien mimicked him, touching the symbols and even trying to make marks on the paper. Some were just scribbles, but Marcus could see a pattern forming. For the first time, he felt something profound. Humans weren't alone in the universe, but humans could reach out. And maybe, just maybe, humans could teach and learn at the same time. Suddenly, a soft chime echoed through the habitat module. Marcus jumped slightly, realizing it was the ship's alert system. He hurried to the console, scanning the status panels. Nothing seemed wrong. The engines hummed steadily, life support stable. Yet the alien reacted to the sound, crouching low and vibrating slightly with color flashes. Marcus crouched beside it. "It's okay," he whispered. "Nothing's wrong." The alien studied him, then mimicked the motion, crouching low and vibrating slowly. Marcus laughed softly. He had never expected to have a student in an alien form today, but here it was. The hours passed, and Marcus realized he hadn't eaten, hadn't moved, hadn't even thought about resting. Time didn't matter. What mattered was this connection, this exchange of knowledge and curiosity. By evening, the alien had begun to imitate not just symbols but actions. It would reach out and point to things, then look at Marcus for confirmation. It was learning human logic. And Marcus, in turn, was learning alien perception, colors, vibrations, even subtle gestures. As he watched, he felt a strange warmth in his chest. This small creature from somewhere far beyond had reminded him why humans explored, why humans reached for the unknown. Curiosity, compassion, intelligence, these were the things that defined them. And maybe, out here in the silent stretch of space, they could share those gifts. When night came, Marcus lay back on his bed, exhausted but exhilarated. The alien curled up near the console, a soft glow emanating from its skin. They had not spoken words, but a conversation had happened anyway. Marcus closed his eyes. Tomorrow, he thought, they would try something new. But for now, he felt the joy of discovery. And in that quiet, humming spaceship, he realized that humans weren't just surviving in space, they were beginning to thrive. Somewhere far away, in the endless darkness, the universe seemed to shimmer just a little brighter. And Marcus knew this was only the beginning. The next morning, the soft hum of the spaceship greeted Marcus again, but this time, he didn't wake alone. The small alien, which he had decided to call Luma, was already awake, perched on the edge of his bed. Its soft, shifting colors pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. Marcus rubbed his eyes and smiled. "Good morning, Luma," he said. The alien tilted its head, blinking at him. Somehow, its expression felt like a greeting. After yesterday's discoveries, Marcus felt both excited and cautious. He knew the key to understanding Luma lay in patience. Words might not work, symbols might help, but gestures, tone, and observation, those were just as important. He grabbed his notebook and a pen. "Let's try again today," he said, "step by step." Luma's eyes brightened and it stretched a limb toward the notebook. Marcus smiled. This creature was intelligent, yes, but it also seemed playful, curious, eager. It wanted to learn just as he wanted to understand. Marcus began with the basics, simple shapes and actions. He drew a circle and tapped it. "Circle," he said. Luma touched the shape, then looked at Marcus, repeating the motion with its small, delicate fingers. Its skin shimmered a gentle blue. "Good," Marcus whispered. "Triangle." He drew a triangle and again, Luma touched it, this time letting a yellow glow spread over its skin. Slowly, Marcus began to see a pattern. Luma's colors reflected its emotions or understanding. Blue was calm, yellow curious, green pleased, red perhaps worried or excited. Hours passed as they repeated this exercise. Marcus tried adding small actions, pointing to the light, tapping the floor, moving a small toy across the table. Each time, Luma mimicked him, learning to associate his gestures with objects or actions. It was exhausting, but exhilarating. During a brief break, Marcus watched Luma hop lightly across the floor. It paused at a small control panel, tapping it gently. Lights blinked and a soft whirring sound came from the ship's environmental system. Marcus realized Luma was exploring, testing, learning the mechanics of the ship. "You're smart," he said softly, kneeling beside it. "Curious too, I can see that." Luma responded with a bright green shimmer, almost like a laugh. Marcus laughed as well. He was beginning to feel that bond, the silent connection of two beings trying to understand one another. He decided it was time for a new challenge. He placed a small, translucent cube on the table. "This is a cube," he said, pointing to it. "It has 6 sides. Can you touch them?" Luma tilted its head, then stretched a limb and tapped one side of the cube. Marcus nodded. "Yes, good. Now touch all the sides." Luma moved its limbs in precise motions, tapping each side one by one. Its skin shifted through colors, turning from curious yellow to pleased green. Marcus' heart swelled. This was more than imitation. Luma was learning patterns, understanding instructions, and adapting. "Tomorrow we'll try something bigger," Marcus said, scribbling notes furiously. "Maybe numbers, maybe shapes that move, but for now this is amazing." As evening fell, the ship's artificial lights dimmed. Marcus prepared a simple meal for himself while Luma explored nearby. It touched objects, sometimes picking them up carefully, sometimes just observing. Occasionally it made soft sounds, a series of chirps and hums that Marcus couldn't interpret yet, but he was sure one day he would. After dinner, Marcus returned to the table with a new idea. He had remembered a small puzzle device designed for human astronauts to test problem-solving skills. It was simple, a set of blocks that needed to be arranged to fit a pattern. He placed it in front of Luma. "Try this," he said. "See if you can figure it out." The alien paused, studying the blocks. Then slowly it reached out, lifting one and turning it. It placed it in a corner. Marcus watched in awe. Piece by piece, Luma solved the puzzle, not perfectly, but it was clear it understood the goal. "You're amazing," Marcus whispered. "I didn't expect this so soon." For the first time, Marcus realized that humans weren't the only clever beings in the universe. But humans had something special, the ability to teach, to guide, to reason, and to show empathy. Luma was learning from him, yes, but he was learning too from its curiosity, its attention, its silent communication. Over the next few hours, Marcus and Luma developed a small routine. Morning, symbols and shapes. Afternoon, actions and problem-solving. Evening, exploration and observation. The alien began to mimic more complex gestures, sometimes even pointing to objects it wanted to understand. One moment stood out. Marcus was showing Luma a small holographic projection of stars and planets, teaching it about the solar system. Luma's eyes widened as it reached toward the projection, tapping on one planet after another. Its skin shimmered in bursts of green and yellow. "Earth," Marcus said, pointing. "That's home. Humans live there. This is where I come from." Luma tilted its head, then touched his hand lightly. The touch sent a small tingling sensation through Marcus' fingers. Somehow, he felt Luma understood. Not just the words, not just the shapes, but the idea that this tiny blue planet far away was home to someone. Night came, and Marcus felt both tired and alive in a way he hadn't before. He lay on the bed, watching Luma curl up on a soft mat nearby, glowing faintly in greens and blues. He thought about the vastness of space. Planets, stars, galaxies stretched endlessly. Yet here, in this tiny habitat, he had found a connection that mattered more than any distant star. Sleep began to pull him under, but he remembered one important thought. The universe was vast, yes, but humans could reach across the darkness. They could learn, they could teach, they could connect. And maybe, just maybe, this small creature, so different from anything on Earth, was showing him the next step for humanity, not in war or conquest, but in understanding and friendship. Tomorrow, he decided, they would try something new. Perhaps Luma would teach him something too. Perhaps together they could discover something no human, or alien, had ever seen before. And for the first time in weeks, Marcus smiled as he drifted to sleep, feeling that incredible sense of possibility that only the unknown could bring. The universe was vast, mysterious, and full of challenges. But humans had curiosity. And that, Marcus knew, was a power no one could take away. The next morning, sunlight, or what passed for sunlight inside the spaceship, spilled softly across the habitat module. Marcus awoke slowly, but this time, he was not the first to rise. Luma was already at the control panel, its delicate fingers tapping and tracing patterns across the blinking lights. Its skin pulsed in bright yellow and green, colors Marcus had come to recognize as curiosity and excitement. He rubbed his eyes and smiled. "Good morning, Luma," he said. The alien paused, looking at him, then blinked. Its glow shifted to a calm blue, as if acknowledging his greeting. Marcus stretched and got out of bed. He felt a strange sense of anticipation today. Yesterday, they had made progress with communication, problem-solving, and learning gestures. But something told him today would be different. Luma seemed more focused, almost as if it wanted to show him something. He approached the alien slowly. "What are you working on?" he asked softly. Luma didn't answer in words, of course. Instead, it tapped a series of buttons and the holographic display above the console flickered to life. Marcus squinted at the image. His eyes widened. It was a star map, but unlike any he had seen. The lines were not just paths of planets or light. They seemed to vibrate with energy, connecting distant points in strange patterns. Some points shimmered like faint pulses of light. "What is this?" Marcus whispered. He leaned closer. The display responded to his movement, zooming in on a cluster of points that seemed to hum. Luma touched one of the pulsing points. A soft sound emitted from the ship's speakers, a low hum that vibrated slightly, almost like music. The light grew brighter and the lines connecting the points seemed to shift, rearranging themselves. Marcus stepped back, astonished. You can do this. You understand this." The alien looked at him, eyes bright with green curiosity, then back at the display. It tapped again, pointing to a sequence of points. Marcus studied the pattern. He had no idea what it meant, but he sensed that it was important. Somehow, this small creature had knowledge humans had never discovered. For hours, Marcus watched Luma manipulate the star map. It was subtle at first, adjusting positions, tapping points, making the lights pulse in patterns. Then he began to see it. A rhythm, a logic, a sequence that suggested a path, not just through space, but through something deeper. Perhaps energy flows or a way to predict cosmic events. "This is incredible," Marcus said, voice barely audible. "You're showing me something humans don't even know." Luma blinked slowly, then reached out and touched Marcus' hand. Its glow shifted from green to a soft gold, almost like pride. Marcus felt a warmth spread through him. Somehow, he knew Luma wasn't just showing him a display. It was offering knowledge, trust, a gift. He studied the patterns carefully, trying to mimic Luma's movements. His fingers tapped and traced the holographic points, and the display responded to him as it did to Luma. Slowly, Marcus began to understand the principles. Connections, flows, cycles of light and energy. This could help humanity," Marcus whispered. "If I can learn this, we could use it to navigate farther, safer, faster, maybe even understand the universe better." Luma tilted its head, watching him. It seemed pleased that Marcus was learning. Its skin shimmered in bursts of blue and green, flickering like the very stars on the display. Hours passed like minutes. Marcus and Luma worked side by side, exploring the mysterious patterns. Marcus tried to teach the alien more human concepts, numbers, time, cause, and effect, but Luma seemed to teach him even more. It revealed sequences of light that hinted at hidden forces, patterns in the stars that could guide travel or predict cosmic events. By the time evening came, Marcus was exhausted but exhilarated. He sat on the edge of the bed, rubbing his tired eyes. Luma hovered nearby, its skin glowing faintly, resting but alert. Marcus realized something profound. Humans could survive and explore space, yes, but with curiosity, patience, and learning from others, they could thrive. This is more than a lesson, he said softly to himself. This is a chance to understand the universe in a way no human ever has. As night fell, Marcus could not stop thinking about the possibilities. He reviewed the data they had gathered. Each pattern, each connection, each pulse of light might hold the key to something enormous. Faster space travel, better predictions of cosmic events, even ways to communicate or interact with life forms beyond Earth. And yet, he felt the weight of responsibility. Luma had shared this knowledge with him, but it was fragile. Misunderstanding could ruin everything. Humanity had to be ready, humans had to be careful, intelligent, compassionate. He looked at Luma, curled up near the console. The alien's glow softened as if it sensed his thoughts. Marcus smiled, feeling a bond stronger than words. Somehow, in this tiny ship, in the vast emptiness of space, he had found a partner. Not a servant, not a pet, but a teacher and friend. The next day, he decided, they would test the patterns further. Perhaps they could predict the movement of a nearby comet. Perhaps they could use the energy flows to navigate through a dense asteroid field. Every step was small, but each step held the promise of discovery. And Marcus knew one thing for sure. Humans had something no other species could match: their ingenuity, their curiosity, their ability to learn and adapt. Luma was brilliant, yes, but Marcus' mind, combined with humanity's history of exploration, could take this knowledge further than any one creature could alone. As he drifted to sleep that night, Marcus thought of Earth far below, tiny and blue. The universe was full of mysteries, full of life forms and patterns beyond imagining. But humanity had a chance, not just to survive, but to understand, to grow, to shine. And with Luma's guidance, he was beginning to see how. In the quiet hum of the spaceship, Marcus and Luma slept side by side, two beings from different worlds, sharing curiosity, intelligence, and hope. And somewhere, far beyond the stars, the universe waited, ready to reveal its secrets to those willing to learn. The spaceship hummed gently as it floated through the quiet darkness of space. Marcus sat at the console, eyes fixed on the holographic star map that Luma had revealed. For days they had been exploring patterns, learning sequences, and discovering secrets hidden in the stars. Now, Marcus felt something extraordinary building, an opportunity to use this knowledge. Luma hovered nearby, its glowing skin shifting in greens and blues, signaling curiosity and calm anticipation. Marcus had come to understand these colors. Green meant attention, blue meant calm, yellow curiosity, and gold pride. Luma's gold glimmer told him that today something important was about to happen. Marcus took a deep breath. "All right, Luma," he said softly. "We're going to try something new, something bigger." The alien blinked at him and reached a hand toward the console. Its fingers moved with precision, pressing sequences that activated holographic lines, pulsating points, and shifting constellations. Marcus mirrored the movements, following the patterns as carefully as he could. Together they worked in silence, understanding flowing without words. The goal, Marcus realized, was not just to study the stars. Luma was guiding him toward a path, a series of energy flows and light sequences that could be used to navigate through the most dangerous regions of space safely. Comets, asteroid fields, and solar storms could be predicted and avoided. Marcus felt a thrill he had never known. "Humans," he whispered, thinking of Earth, "we could go further, faster, safer, all because of curiosity, learning, and teamwork." Hours passed as they fine-tuned the sequences. Marcus' mind raced as he pieced together the final pattern. It was intricate, almost like a cosmic puzzle, but every piece fit. Luma watched closely, shimmering gold as if encouraging him. Finally, Marcus leaned back and exhaled. "We did it," he said. I think we really did it." A soft chime sounded from the console. The spaceship's sensors had detected an approaching asteroid cluster, one that would have been impossible to navigate safely using old charts. Marcus studied the readings. This was the test, the real challenge. He turned to Luma. "This is it. Let's try your method." The alien reached out, tracing the patterns once more. Marcus followed carefully, activating the ship's navigation systems according to the sequences. The lights on the control panel pulsed in time with the holographic map. Energy flows shifted and aligned, creating a safe path through the cluster. Marcus held his breath. Every asteroid, every moving rock, followed the path predicted by the patterns. The ship glided smoothly between them, as if guided by an invisible hand. Marcus' heart pounded, but it was not fear. No, it was awe, excitement, and pride. "We're actually doing it," he whispered. "We're moving through safely." Luma hovered at his side, pulsing in calm blues and gentle greens. Marcus smiled. Somehow, in this moment, he knew that humans were capable of incredible things. Not because of strength or weapons, but because of curiosity, intelligence, and the willingness to learn. As the last of the asteroids passed safely behind them, Marcus let out a laugh of pure joy. "We made it, we really made it." The spaceship continued onward, smooth and untroubled, and Marcus felt a deep sense of achievement. He looked at Luma, whose glowing skin shimmered in a radiant gold. Pride, trust, and friendship. Marcus could feel all of it. He realized then that this was what humans did best. They explored, they adapted, they learned. And when they worked together, with others, with different species, with the unknown, they could achieve wonders no one had thought possible. Marcus spent the next hours documenting everything. Patterns, sequences, energy flows. He recorded them all, making sure the knowledge could be shared with humanity. Luma assisted, pointing out details, adjusting measurements, and demonstrating concepts that Marcus might have missed. Together, they created a record that could change space travel forever. During a quiet moment, Marcus looked out the viewport. Stars stretched infinitely, countless points of light shining in the vast darkness. Somewhere out there, other beings might be watching, exploring, learning, just as he and Luma had done. He felt a surge of hope. Humans were not the only intelligent life in the universe, but they had something powerful: ingenuity, compassion, curiosity, and the drive to understand. With that, they could meet the universe not as conquerors, but as explorers, learners, and friends. As the spaceship moved through the silent void, Marcus and Luma paused for a moment of rest. The alien curled near the console, glowing softly, while Marcus leaned back in his chair, exhausted but exhilarated. The work they had done was only the beginning. Tomorrow, he thought, they could explore even further. Perhaps Luma could show him new phenomena, new ways of understanding energy and light, patterns in stars no human had ever noticed. Perhaps humanity would benefit from these discoveries in ways no one could yet imagine. But tonight, there was celebration in silence. A silent recognition that humans could thrive, could adapt, and could shine in the universe without violence, without fear, just with curiosity, intelligence, and cooperation. Marcus closed his eyes, thinking of Earth, of the countless humans who had looked up at the night sky and dreamed. He thought of scientists, explorers, thinkers, children asking questions. He thought of everything humanity had achieved and everything they could achieve. And he knew that today, aboard a small spaceship with a small, brilliant alien by his side, humans had taken another step forward. Not a step of force, but a step of understanding. A step that proved, once again, that humans could thrive anywhere. The universe was vast, mysterious, and full of challenges, but Marcus no longer felt small. He felt capable, connected, and ready. Somewhere far beyond, stars shimmered with silent approval. The galaxy seemed to pulse as if acknowledging the triumph, not of one human, not of one alien, but of cooperation, curiosity, and the endless potential of the human spirit. And Marcus smiled, knowing that this was only the beginning of humanity's true journey into the stars. He slept unclothed. When he woke up, she was on top of him.